Good afternoon, Husky fans. Woo, woo, woo. Good to see all of you. Thanks for being here with us. We're excited to hear from just some incredible women. My name is Sheridan Blanford. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Associate Athletic Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I was asked to sit up and ask questions. I'm not going to say a whole lot because I got to create space and time for who is up here of these fantastic people sitting next to me. But we are here to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sport Day and talk about what sport has meant and how it has gotten us to where we are. So in that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have each of our panelists just briefly introduce yourselves, say who you are, what your connection is to University of Washington, and then something about you that this group of people who's sitting here with us doesn't know. So, all right, Lex, go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'm Alexis Griggsby. I'm on the women's basketball team. Woo, go Dogs! Women's basketball team. I'm in my 5th year. Oh, I'm getting my master's of jurisprudence, so I'm learning law right now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nia Lowery. I play for the women's basketball team. I am a junior, and I'm getting my major in Law Societies and Justice, so.
Hi, everyone. I'm Latara King, Assistant Women's Basketball Coach. I love it. I love it. Something you guys probably don't know. I don't know how this is stumping me. I'm from Florida.
Oh, all right.
Hey everyone, Breanne Watson, graduated in 2007.
She's a big baller, ask her about it.
All day, baby.
Never met a shot she didn't like.
Facts, facts. Currently I'm the Associate Athletic Director at Simon Fraser University. It's a D2 school in the GNAC, and something people don't know about me, well, at least told you everything, so here we go.
Hey everyone, my name is Sara Mosiman. I'm a hometown kid. I played hoops here. Let's see, I graduated in 2009? 2009, I think? Yeah, it's been a minute. Good and washed up now, but I'm still in the sports industry. I run an institute called the Sports Institute at UW Medicine here at the university. We work to expand participation and safety in sports. And I myself had a ton of injuries when I played, so it's very full circle. I can now, make people healthier because I was not very healthy. So one thing you don't know about me, I think I will live in this city till I die, bury me here. I love Seattle, so.
Woo! Awesome. Well, let's give a big round of applause. We got an illustrious crew up here. So they're going to drop some dimes on you. We're going to start with our student athletes. What I would love for each of you to share with our team here, our group, is what has participating in sports growing up taught you? What has it meant to you? What has it taught you? And how have you been able to use those skills in all these great areas of your life?
I think what sports have taught me is community, teamwork, belief in the people around you, and in yourself. I think the majority of the time, especially for young women, is confidence. And I think that through sports and working with people and working with people that you love as well, you learn more about yourself and, the people around you, so, yeah.
All of what Nia said was fantastic. I love it. I'm the same way. I think one thing that resonated with me was that you can be competitive. See, as women, we're told we're not supposed to be as competitive. We're supposed to be just as competitive. And I think it gave me that edge to go after what I wanted, no matter what the circumstances was, no matter what nobody told me. So I think, sports has taught you, confidence-wise, but confidence in myself and my abilities that I've worked on, and I did. So that's what sport has taught me.
Awesome. All right, our three at the end, all former collegiate basketball players who are all working in some form of sport or connected to sport. So talk about why you chose a career in sport. There's a lot of things you could have done, but why did you choose a career in sport? And then how did you get to where you are today? It's kind of a loaded question, but I'm going to pitch that to all three of you.
That's a lot. I think being an athlete and being connected to sport growing up, I just always knew I wanted to keep that connection, and that was the career path I wanted to go on. And so, you know, after graduating from the UW, I thought I wanted to be Elise Woodward. Turns out I hate being on camera. Shocking, I know. But headed down the administration path and just really realized I wanted to instill confidence and leadership skills in young women. And so I think that being able to be mentored by some incredible people, Shannon Kelly, Jen Cohen, Elise Woodward, my current athletic director, has really made me understand that it's really important to lift each other up, as opposed to, you're not in competition with another woman. You're here to lift her up and bring her into the sports world. It is historically male dominated, and I think if you can bring someone with you, it's really impactful. So where I'm at right now, I'm very thankful for the UW and everyone I've been connected with to get me where I am.
Well said. Sports kind of chose me a little bit. So I actually didn't intend to be in the sports industry. Like I said before, I had some injuries, and it helped me really think about my life beyond basketball. And I ended up just networking with everything around me, everything that moved, really. I mean, the university has so many resources for you all, you know, like I was talking with my athletic trainer and job shadowing with a broadcaster and just trying to get as much as I could from being here at the university. And I ended up getting a shot from Elise Woodward. Do y'all know Elise? She's a broadcaster here. She's been around town for a while. She's probably working right now. She gave me an internship, and that really took it off from there. You know, she took me under her wing, like Breanne was saying. You know, that allyship from other women in the industry is so important. And since then, have been in the sports industry and was lucky enough to actually run big basketball tournaments overseas and internationally. And it really started here at home at the university and leveraging, you know, the great folks here in the athletic department and those around me. So I was lucky in that way. I think they really took me under their wing. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think my path was very similar to most of these women up here. I had no intentions of being a coach for women's basketball. My career path was to be a physical therapist. I went to undergrad for biology, and I played ball, and I tore my ACL. And so after that, I rehabbed, loaded up on classes, and I started coaching travel team basketball and was able to be with them from 7th grade all the way up to 11th. And I saw myself in those young women, and I felt like this was something I wanted to do, and everyone said I should try to stick it out. And so from there, my college coach gave me a job, and I just started coaching from there. So I had no intentions to be a coach, and 10 years later, here I am.
There you are. Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you. I think we hear a lot about just the mentality of what sports has transformed us to all get this experience and then translate that to how can we give back. And that is very much, if it resulted in injury, which I had, clearly we got some down here, but it really does help shape kind of how we view and how we want to utilize these experiences, positive or negative, to help us get to where we are. So I want to ask our alumni, and maybe our students, if you want to jump in here, what is it like being a woman in sport? What challenges have you faced being a woman in sport? And then what is some advice that you can give to the folks here, whether it is a young lady who's interested in playing sport or working in sport? How can they overcome some of those challenges? So I'll start down there, and then I'll come down here as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I mean, I hate to kind of harp on it, but sport is historically a male-dominated industry. And so I think when you walk into it, it can be quite intimidating, walking into that environment, seeing where you want to be a leader and how you want to change things, and, you know, for example, managing a football coach or something along those lines. So I think I'll go back to my previous answer that I think if you have a really good support system and network, which Moss talked about, you talked about, it's all about networking. Is really who you know, who can lift you up, who can prepare you for your next steps. And you know, honestly, that's so much bigger than everything else, because if you have that positive impact and you can build your confidence and you walk in there and go, I can do this. People maybe can tell me, hey, you can't do this. I can do this. And so, again, I feel like I'm reiterating myself, but I'm so thankful for the UW and the network that has been created around me to get me where I am, and I will continually lean on that network. That's why I'm here today, and very thankful to be a part of this panel and tell you guys, hey, we got you, so you let us know.
So something I've seen and experienced as being a woman in the sports industry is there's a lot of former athletes, right? So something that I actually think on a positive side has been that athletes really respect athletes, regardless of gender. And so I've had a very good experience there in terms of, you know, even when I was playing here, you know, the men's team, we trained together, we practiced together, and we saw each other as equals. And I think that is translated a lot in the sports industry. But there still are challenges, and I would say some of the challenges I've felt have been around appearance. People like to say something about how you look because you're a woman, right? They want to comment on, like, my man hands, right? I have, like, really big hands, or, you know, what you're wearing. And I think that happens a lot more with women than men. And I think the biggest thing for me in overcoming challenges in the industry, luckily, has been things that you put effort into. So you don't have to be like the smartest person in the room. I think if you put in, you know, like what Breanne was saying about network, if you can go out there and speak to someone, put yourself on the limb, you know, be vulnerable, talk about yourself, try and get to know other people, that's really gone a long way for me, which luckily you don't have to have a lot of skill for that. You know, you really just have to put yourself out there and try to build that network. And the other thing I will say that really translates that you all are probably feeling right now is just you put in so much work every day, right? You put in so much hustle, you are grinding, and those things really show up in this industry. That translates really well. So luckily you have all those skill sets already and just leverage them in the future.
Ladies down here, what y'all got? What's some challenges you faced, and have you overcome them?
I think the biggest one that, like, with our generation at least, is like fighting for, so like we saw the NCAA, how the different weight rooms were different. And I think like making a stand and taking a stand, like we're not gonna just be on the side and do lift baby weights when I could probably deadlift 150 pounds. And I think it's like, we can do that, and we can prove that to them. And for them to not even think about giving us those weights, I think was mind-blowing to me. And I think that fight right there is, we're not saying we'll take it, it's saying we want more just as much as them. And I think that's where we get it from.
Good. You got anything to add?
I think never taking no for an answer as well and demanding more. I think a lot of time as women we think that we need to settle and recede when instead we should definitely like always push back.
Absolutely. That's good. We just got a whole sermon up here. I don't know if y'all felt that. I did. Just really about surrounding yourself with great people, utilizing this experience, as again we've talked about, but then also standing up and advocating when you see something that's wrong and knowing that you deserve the best and not settling for anything less. So I appreciate that. So, you know, in today's day and age, we've all gone through this crazy year and a half, what is almost 2 years, which is crazy, of COVID, the pandemic, social injustice. We've all been kind of forced to really reflect on taking care of ourselves. So I would love for each of you to talk about what's one way you take care of yourselves. And I think that that's something as women in particular we have to be super, super intentional about, because kind of like you said, is like sometimes we just get what we get and people expect us to just be okay with that. But I think really centering taking care of yourself, mental health, staying physically active, what are some of the strategies and tools that you have as student athletes, but also as you know, staff and people that are connected to university, how do you take care of yourself? He's gonna start.
I think for me, it's really being grounded and understanding what centers me, and just taking quality time for myself and surrounding myself with people that understand like who I am. Yeah, and just exercising and doing what I love every day.
When I'm in a really tough spot, I love to write. Just whatever I'm feeling or whatever it is, because it just allows you to get your emotions out and whatnot. But I use our resources that we have here. We have mental health professionals so that you can talk to them, which is always nice. So I think that's a big thing, that we have the resources, let's take advantage of it.
I I think the last 2 years have been incredibly hard for everyone, and I condone you guys for, I can't even imagine my first couple of years of university being in a pandemic. Like, you don't know anyone, you're walking into space, you're trying to make friends and try to connect with people, so I can't imagine what that was like for your mental health, being on Zoom. Like, that's a whole nother level. For myself, you know, ball is life. I'm really sad we didn't get to play our alumni game because I was ready. But I think for being isolated for so long, it was incredibly difficult, and I had to find another outlet, and I actually turned to cycling. So I went from baggy basketball shorts to full Lycra, which was a surprise for many people who know me. And you know, I just got on my bike and I just rode, and I explored the city of Vancouver, and it's the only time I was never thinking. So I was able to just sit on my bike, ride around, breathe, get the stress out, kind of, and that's how I escaped COVID. I know we're still in it, but it has kind of been my savior in a sense. Coming down here was massive for me. June was my coach for 4 years and had an incredible impact on my life. And I'm very thankful for her. And so crossing the border was very important for me today. And I think if I could say anything to you guys, I know you've been through coaching changes and all that, but I think when you're out of it, when you graduate, that's when you can really reflect and realize, you know, how important those 4 years of your life were. Like, they're the best 4 years of your life. You go through turmoil. You think about yourself. Things are unfair. Time management is hard. But when you leave it, you can reflect on it and go, damn, it was all worth it, and I go back in a second. So I know I kind of like spiraled out right there, but I think the mental health piece is like, enjoy your time, whatever it is right now. Lean into it, and when you move out of it, network. Talk to us. Talk to your coaches. We got you. I'm just like crying.
I'll just add, there we go. I will add that mental health, I think one of the positives of COVID has been more prioritization of mental health. I myself, I'm writing my therapist into my will, you know, so if y'all have a therapist, like, keep that up. That's really been helping me out. And then I think just physical activity, you know, there's, obviously we were all, you guys are still athletes. I still think I am one, kind of. But I think everyone is an athlete. You know, we all are an athlete in some way, and so getting outside, getting active is really important for our mental health. You know, there's a lot of physical benefits that I think we all know, but in terms of sleep, in terms of social connection, you know, those things are just so important, and physical activity can be a foundation for that. So I hope y'all are getting out there, getting moving your bodies in whatever way works for you, because every little bit counts.
Yeah, just to add, I think it was very difficult just being in the game of basketball and just dealing through a pandemic and stuff. And I think, you know, I wasn't with these young women before, but during that process, I think leaning in on yoga and meditation, like, I try to do yoga every night now, and I think the girls see me sometimes late night, like, because we're here, we work, we try to pour into our young ladies, and we practice, and then I'm just, wherever I can do yoga, I do yoga, so I have a little traveling yoga mat, and I take that sucker with me everywhere I go.
She sure does.
She does. So we heard really grounding yourself. We heard the focus and importance of mental health, and that you can seek mental health just like you would go to the doctor for a checkup. You got to make sure you're taking care of your mind. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong, but it's important to seek mental health support, not just help, but support. We talked about the importance of getting physically active and pouring into the things that bring you joy. Like, just wanted to reiterate, as we just continue on to navigate through this unknown, that we need to continue to remind ourselves to do those things. So we have a lot of young ears here, but we also have parents, fans, and folks that are supporters of the University of Washington Women's Basketball Program. I would love to hear from each of you. What is one piece of advice you would give your younger self? So hindsight is always 20/20. We go through things in life, and everything becomes clear after the fact. But we have people here. You know, I'm a firm believer that we go through things so other people don't have to. at the same level or in the same way. So I would love to hear from each of you. And there's no, bounds to that, whatever that feels like for you. What is one piece of advice when you look back at your younger self? What would you say? Latara, I'm gonna start with you.
I think the one thing I probably would tell myself is kind of what Nia said, is like, don't ever give up. Like, don't let one person change my just outlook on life. So you get a lot of no's in life, and then you get that one yes. So I would think just pouring into myself and betting on myself, and then giving myself grace. I think as I got to my adult life, I was very hard on myself, and life hits you, and you don't take time to reflect back on your growth, because it's not instant, it's not right there. But I think giving myself some grace as well, I would tell my younger self.
It's wonderful. Lexi, what you think?
What would I tell younger Lexi? I think I'm still a worrier. Like, I worry too much, way too much. And I think looking back, and I'm still telling myself this, but like, enjoy the little things. I think every now and then we believe that like the big picture is the end goal, but I think without those little pieces, like on a puzzle, you'll never get the true piece. And I think that's one thing that I would tell my younger self.
That's good. Our alum, what y'all think down there?
I mean, to my younger self, I would just say, like, enjoy the ride. Like, I think you get so consumed when you get to university and you have all these goals for yourself. And honestly, like, at least I can speak for myself, it was all about me. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Whether it was academics, athletics, otherwise. And you're so in this tunnel. And when it's over, it's over. Like, it goes by so fast. Like, honestly, I can say, and I feel like I had an incredible experience here at the UW, like, I'm so thankful because it was the best 4 years of my life, and it's led me to where I am now. And so enjoy it, because there are parts that suck. There are parts you hate. You're angry at your coach. You're mad at your professor. It's raining. Like, there are all these things, but like, honestly, when you get through the tunnel and you're done, you're upset. Like, it's over. Like, I recognize people in the stands that I played in front of, and I am so thankful for y'all. And I didn't even recognize that when I was playing, because I was like, oh, we leave the Pac-10 in attendance. Like, they better be out here. But you go, those people cared. They love the UW. They support the program. Like, the importance is incredible. And so I would say enjoy your time. And to my younger self is like, don't stress out.
Good.
Do what you got to do.
Sarah, what you think?
No, it's good. I was feeling that. I want your autograph after this. So I think mine would be about vulnerability. I was like very tough, said I could do everything. And the reality is we can't, we really can't. And also, when you get vulnerable, I think there's just more of a shared sense of alignment with people around you. And I think something we've seen from the pandemic and just the last few years is just how divisive it's gotten. And I think vulnerability can really break those things down. And so, huge fan of it now. Feel free to ask me about my feelings. I will tell you. But in the past, that was not the case. And I think I could have, made a lot more strides and connected with people and myself, known myself a lot better, a lot younger.
That's great. Thank you. Last but not least.
Something I would tell my younger self is to be patient and understand that, like, this is all an experience. Like, life is an experience in general. I don't know, just like being patient and definitely enjoying the process. Like, don't stress about things, and shifting your mindset definitely to like realize what Iggy was saying, realizing the small things and really being appreciative of the people that are around you and what you're going through, because everything is a lesson.
Awesome. So for all those, when they were talking to their younger selves, young girls, young women, they were talking to you. And then the parents and the people that support, they were also talking to you about how you can continue to invest in the young women in your life. So as you take that all in, So the last question I want to ask, and this was not on our preparation materials, so get ready. I asked Josh today, I said I have moderator's privilege, so I can take this wherever I want to take it. But we have some incredibly skilled and accomplished women up here. And I got this question from Lexi, so I'm also going to give her credit where credit's due. What is your most proud sports moment? And I'm gonna, sometimes when we, because I'll do it too, is like you gotta feel like you gotta like set the stage for everybody, and there was like 3 seconds left, and so like if we can get like the skinny version of that, that would be great. But what is your best or most memorable sports moment? It doesn't have to be about you, it could be about your team, it could be about you, because we just talked about confidence and women empowerment. But what is your best sports moment to date? Lexi, I'm gonna start with you since you came up with the question.
Man, I think it would have to be, so my sophomore year, I'm taking it back, sophomore year in high school. Yeah. Sophomore year in high school, my team, we were in a lower division. We should have been in a higher division, but we weren't. But we won a state championship. And I think like just the community aspect of that team, you know how your team, my high school coach always said, you'll never have that same team. And I think when you see the people and you see everybody and you see how it comes together, that was just a beautiful thing for me to see and to be experience. So winning the state championship.
That's awesome. All right, popcorn in it. Sarah, you go next.
Yeah. Okay. Best sports moment in general was never losing to the Cougs. Yeah. So there's that.
Go Dogs.
Yeah. Yes.
Too soon.
I know. And then more personally, I had an injury in my senior year of college here at UW where I was told that I couldn't come back and I'd need to retire. And I went to my athletic trainer and I was like, let's just try. Let's just see what happens. I got a tibial rod put in my shin, and I was able to come back and actually play in senior night when I was told I couldn't. And that was a moment for me to like actually get back on the floor and make a basket and then be done. So yeah.
That's awesome.
This is a really hard question. I think I have two. So first would be, I was a freshman and Juliana Mendiola was a senior here at the UW, and she broke I think it was like the Pac-10 at the time, Pac-10 scoring record in a game or something along those lines. So I just remember I was sitting on the bench and Julie just like got another bucket. It was something like 53 points. I don't know if stat crew's out here, but just being a part of that moment was incredible, and seeing like the stands erupt and her teammates just celebrating her success and her as being a leader when you're a freshman, and you're just like, that's incredible. Like that was big. So that would be one. And the second one is, and I think Moss can probably relate to this, is Mossy was my freshman. So I was a senior, Mossy was a freshman. Sammy Whitcomb also came in with that group, and years later, Sammy had played overseas. She'd done the circuit, and she made it to the WNBA. And I think she was 27. Yeah, it was like 10 years later, and she broke into the league. And I remember, and this is like by chance, everything happens for a reason. Like, I was at that Storm game, again, drove down from Canada, I had my like AAU team. I'm like, we're going to the game. My friend's playing, she never plays, she gets 5 minutes, and she broke the 3-point record in the WNBA that game and like hit something like 8 threes or something crazy. And to see Sammy, who had like grinded for years, make the league, and not only make the league, make a statement. Like, she was a massive part of the Storm's success in winning that championship. So sports moments, like, it's seeing your teammates and your friends succeed, I think.
That's fantastic.
I think one of my best basketball moments was my sophomore year in high school when my team went to the state championship as well. Unfortunately, we didn't win. It was heartbreaking, but looking back at it, it's a really, really good moment. Just because of the community aspect and how close our team was. And even though we did lose, like I still hold those connections really, really dear to me. So like in the moment, heartbreak, but looking back, I really love those connections and the time I had.
Awesome, thank you. Last but not least.
Last one. Mine is a coaching moment, very similar to Sarah's. As far as I had a young lady from my former team that I was with, and she bore ACLs in, like she never played a college basketball game, and every year she just grinded it back, trying to do her rehab, and then that same year she lost her mom to cancer. So I was with her in that process, and then it was the Play for K game, I'll never forget it, and we just put her in for like a minute, and I was just so nervous she was gonna get hurt, and she picked and popped, and she made the three, and I think the whole bench ran on the court. I think we got a technical, like it was a lot of stuff that was going on, but in that moment, it was so worth it, and to see the joy on her teammate's face, and her face was just, it touched my heart, and like, that's a kid that will still call me for my birthday and check in on me, so I mean, just I think what we all were a part of is just like the people, the community that the game of basketball has brought us is this, one of those best sports moments for me.
That's awesome, thank you. So in that, just want to wrap up, we heard a lot about hard work, pursuit, perseverance. We heard a lot about taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, enjoying where you're at, putting one foot in front of the other because you don't have control with what happens beyond that. Enjoying the moment. We just heard a lot of that. So it's just a good kind of life reminder to just be present, to really love and wrap your arms around those that are around you, and to pay attention to what you have control over and showing up and doing the best you can. And everything else will fall into place. So I want to thank all of our fantastic panelists for joining us. I want to thank all of you. We'll say you all are the real ones because you stuck around for the end of this. So thank you for doing that. And also, I want to bring some awareness. So this is, again, celebrating National Girls and Women in Sport Day. Our gymnastics team is also having their I'm not even going to try to say it because there's too many letters. National Girls and Women in Sports Day meet on Saturday, so a week from yesterday at 3:30 p.m. here. And if you haven't watched our gym dogs compete, it's incredible. It is fun. It's a great environment. They are just awesome. So I encourage you all to come out again to support them. But we will let you go on your way. Stay happy, stay healthy, and go Dogs.